Welcome to the Shellonomics Podcast, your source for pure Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles entertainment, presented by King Midas.
We're in Talking Toys episode 6, the year 1993. 1992 was the highest grossing sales for Turtles, and this is the year they take a little step backwards, but they probably have the coolest variants out there. So, Josh, how you doing tonight?
Hi guys, Josh Melchart here from Josh Melchart's Visual Guide to Vintage TMNT. I'm doing great. 1993 is a really good year for Ninja Turtles. We get quite a few new figures. We get a lot of different the weird lines. I know a lot of people don't like the sublines as they're called, but you get some really cool ones in 1993, so it'll be fun to talk about.
Yeah. Let's get started with, let's go with the sewer heroes now, because these guys we talked about a little bit in our last episode. We can kind of piggyback off this. Is the value on these has gone down a little bit because of the unfortunate reissues. I still like these figures. You get some cool buddies. Just make sure you take care of your ears, because those are kind of hard to find with Rhino Man and Bebop. So Josh, can you tell us a little more about these sewer heroes? Our Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Fantastic Four.
All right, sewer heroes, you're going to get Donnie as a Batman type figure, Mikey as a Superman type figure, and then Bebop and Rocksteady as bad guy superheroes. What was I going to say? Oh, each one comes in 4 different color accessories. You're going to have yellow, orange, blue, and purple in all 4 of those. No real price difference in value, but this is one of the first ones where I really started to notice that when they remake a line, the price of the vintage tends to dip a little bit, because collectors are able to get them generally at a more affordable price than what you would pay for the vintage. Rhino Man used to be a pretty sought after figure. Loose, complete, you were talking 150. I think at one point he got up somewhere around $200. Now, I'm sure you could get him for less than $100, probably more like $75. Very cool figures, like you said about the ears. Definitely Donnie, definitely Bebop, I want to say. They tend, and Rocksteady, all the ears tend to break off those. Like you said, you get a lot of cool sidekicks there. Don's Tadpole sidekicks, one of my favorite sidekicks of the whole vintage line, so I really like that line. Lots of cool action. The actions on there were a lot of the same actions the WWE wrestlers had. Once again, we take parts that people liked from other toy lines and turn them into Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, no, it's one of my favorite lines, and also it's like great cartoon too. The Adventures of Rhino Man. That's a VHS episode right there too, man. Back in the vintage line, so that's another reason why I dug that one. All right, then we'll go to the. This is I guess this is 1993 is also when Power Rangers and X-Men came out. So instead of it's morphin time, it's mutating time. We'll play a little rapid fire here. We've got mutations, road ready, and auto mutations. So feel free to pick which one you want to tackle first out of those. You got your Transformer. Let's do Transformer road ready mutations.
Okay, the road ready mutations was, just like you said, a Transformers car-like design. You had Don as a race car, Leo as the fire truck, Shredder as the module, and Splinter as the turtle van. You're going to get 4 color accessory variants for each one of them. Blue, orange, yellow, red, I believe. No price difference, no value difference. Really, really clumsy to mutate. These figures didn't do well. They don't really look good in turtle form. They don't really look good in car form. Although Splinter's little turtle van is pretty neat when transformed. I do like that one a lot. The weapons are neater, but you really don't get a lot of play value out of them, in my opinion. They're really clunky figures.
I agree. So, look on paper, the module one looks really cool for those who couldn't afford the module or had the regular vehicle, but it is kind of just slop when you try to put that thing together. I agree all the way.
Okay.
And you got to be careful with the stickers on those too, though, right, Josh? For those 4 pieces.
Absolutely. almost like Don's car. It's always going to be missing stickers. They actually came with little sticker sheets, and you're supposed to put them on yourself, and a lot of people don't. And then also just all the mutating and shit on them, you tend to tear that kind of stuff up. So not as easy to find with really nice stickers, just like you spoke on there.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so one mutation set down. Now we'll hit up. This one's an intro. We'll go with the regular mutations because I think these ones are kind of cooler than the turtle ones alone. We had another episode here. We had the Catwoman from Channel 6. I was glad they made April the Catwoman. Shredder's is okay. I thought the Foot Soldier was pretty cool. But yeah, Josh, let us know about these guys here.
Okay, so you're getting Toka and Razor from this line. I think, although they're very clunky, I think they're the best done mutations figures. I don't even really know how to explain it, but their pet versions look really good. Their regular versions, not so much, but their pet versions look cool. April, you said, just like the cartoon, you got the Catwoman from News Channel 6. Let's see. Oh, the Foot Soldier. You go from the robot to the Foot Soldier, and he kind of had panels that flipped over, so you could almost do like a battle damage type thing with him. I liked that one a lot. His weapons are very cool. Shredder, not so much. I mean, he's all right, but once again, a clunky figure. To get his full gown mutated and everything and all the line up right, just huge pain in the butt, not a very cool figure. Not a lot of value there. I mean, Toka and Razor kind of get up there a little bit. Foot Soldier for obvious reasons, the army building reasons. But, you can still buy these ones in the box for $60-$70 a lot of times, and loose complete, you're in the $30 range for all of them, maybe $40 for a Foot Soldier, but cool figures. Auto mutations, I mean, basically stolen straight from Power Rangers head flippers, wherever that was stolen from. You squeeze their chest opens up, their head flips around, or the mask flips over. Very cool. I mean, I thought the action was really neat the first time I saw one. The armor is really detailed on them. I thought that was cool. The way the little weapons flip out of each one of their feet. But then you get like, Mikey's nunchucks, which are kind of bogus. They're like little ooze cans that break apart like just the tiniest little bit in the middle. Just not really well done. Like I said, cool design, cool concept, very stylistically cool looking, but clunky to play with. Also clunky to display on the shelf. Not a lot of value in the figures.
Yeah, they say it's like a first reaction, they look cool, but it's almost like when you buy a game and it's called replay value, where it's like after a while it just loses its flavor really fast. Almost like
the sound they make when you like whoosh, and it does all that. I mean, it's cool.
Oh yeah.
Like I can appreciate it a lot more as an adult than I would have been able to as a kid, because it's to like get everything to fold back up into place and tuck back in there where it's supposed to so it flips out correctly. Like I said, I don't see the replay value in them, and the market obviously doesn't either because they've never really jumped in price.
No, and I agree. I wish there would have, if there was an episode like this, maybe there would have been a little more sentimental value. I mean, there was that one with Shibano Sama who just came out on the NECA spot where, Shredder tries getting Bebop and Rocksteady to be ninjas, but this is more like a karate sort of attire. So, yeah, it's... I'd say we're just too excited, but from 1992, like you say, with the higher gross sales, they just, threw out tons and tons and tons.
Whatever ideas they had, they threw out there.
Yeah. Let's go to another set here. Just another one that was a weird one, but I do want you to inform viewers who are listening for the first time on YouTube or Spotify about the Ninja Actions and why the Michelangelo one is the one you want to have your eye on out of the four.
Okay, so Ninja Action was another thing where they were working with spring designs to give the Ninja Turtles action features. Raph does a cartwheel, Leo does a front flip, Mikey does a backflip. It doesn't matter. They all do something different. Mikey got recalled because part of his action was he flings his kind of nunchucks forward out of his back things and Is that what I heard? Like somebody got hit in the eyes in the testing period. I don't know. So they recalled Mikey, and then when they did the Ninja Power re-release, the 3 other ones got that re-release and Mikey didn't. So you see a lot more Leo Raph Don than you do Mikey. Mikey Complete is a pretty, it's not retirement money valuable, but it's $100 figure, I'm sure. Loose Complete. In the box, even more. Like I said, Playmates didn't keep the greatest record, so nobody really has an exact 100% on the recall. I'm sure somebody at Playmates does, but that's what I've always heard. I don't really know the exact details on it.
Okay, yeah, I'd say really just a quick little look, kind of a cool try, but yeah, just these guys never worked for me either. Cartwheel and Don, I tried time and time again. Raphael, once in a while, I could get him to work and land on his feet, which was like, yes, I did it, but it's like after about the 20th try, you've already wasted about an hour of a day where you could have just been playing more at your toys.
Yeah, and those ones are kind of hard to complete because their accessories look really similar to 88 and Storage Cell. They're just a little bigger. They tend to be hard to track down if that's what you're looking for, because a lot of people can't tell the difference between them and an 88. The handles are just bigger because the hands are bigger on those figures. But it's one of the last action figure lines from Ninja Turtles that I remember getting as a kid and still being excited for Ninja Turtles. But then, like you said, it wore off pretty quick as I tried over and over and over and over to get Donatello to land his cartwheel.
Yeah, all you had to say, yeah, it was the same issue I had. It was just like, you know what? Sorry, you're done. Shredder put a spell on him. He couldn't do his ninja action anymore.
Well, they do have a really gritty comic look to the sculpt. So the actions and sculpts on them are actually very well done.
That's actually a good point. Yeah, the sculpts are gray on there. Yeah, just the action itself is just a little pish-posh on there. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Let's try and rock out. Let's go to, here's another cool set I like. Let's go to the Cave Turtles. These guys still have some great value. And I guess I'll also ask you after you give us some info, do you think these guys will get a reissue? I think they should. Yeah, it may hurt the value, but I think these guys are really cool and their accessories are kind of hard to find.
Okay. I definitely remember getting Cave Mike as a kid on a birthday or Christmas. Very cool. The dinosaur. I always loved Stegosaurus anyway, so Mikey being with a Stegosaurus, killing 2 birds with 1 stone for me. So, and then Mikey's little belt, I always thought was really cool. So, Leo got released in '92, got re-released in '93. I believe in '93 is when he has the little, his dinosaur has the Ninja Turtles logo printed on his thigh. The 2 that were released in '92, I don't believe do. And then Cave Raph gets a variant with his dinosaur, actually. So on Cave Raph, the U.S. version, the reins are mounted to the mouth. They're not removable. But if you get a UK, I believe it's Ideal is who the licensing brand was under. They made one where the pterodactyl has an open mouth that the reins slide into just the same way Mikey's or Leo's do. So that's something that's kind of one of those variants that's really hard to track down. Not everybody's even going to know what you're talking about, but the really deep dive Ninja Turtle guys are going to appreciate that variant because it's pretty neat. Yeah. And it much better design because everybody knows the US Rap version breaks all the time.
Well, and speaking of this breaking, how difficult is it for people to find Raphael's pterodactyl with that little strap that he has for him?
Oh, man. These ones have jumped in value quite a bit in the last few years, like you said. They may get a re-release. A lot of times the re-release depends on what molds they have around and what molds they're able to make. So I don't know about this one. I don't have any insider knowledge at Playmates, but they're a pretty detailed line. I think it'd be neat. I'm sure they do really well if they re-released them. Yeah, I mean, really cool line. Really well done. Like we talked about the sculpts on the last one, man. The Cave Turtles got all the details in the figures. The weapons are really well done, from Raph's spear inside to Leo's club and Mikey's little bone nunchucks. Very well done.
No, I agree. And here's another. I thought this was kind of a cool piece just because he stood out. And I actually came up with the name. I'm sure you've heard of it. Pit Stain for Farmer Mike and his turtle tractor. The good old sweaty Pit and Mike. So
Farmer Mike, they were hitting up that Midwest crowd for seeing if they could sell a few more Ninja Turtles. They released Mike on an old John Deere looking tractor, very turtle-fied, came with a pitchfork and a shovel. I think it was one of the cooler toys made. As a kid growing up in southern Illinois, I played with a lot of tractors when I was little. So like combining, just like I said, the Stegosaurus and Mikey, the tractor and Mikey, another one right up my alley. I kid. But as you said, Pit Stain Mikey, as with all white action figures, the sun and heat and time all do things to white. Farmer Mikey is one of the ones that seems to get hit harder. It's very hard to find a clean white figure for that one. You'll see 10 brown ones for every white one.
Jeez, and he still goes for a good buck too, doesn't he? Decent. I mean, like
absolutely. Probably complete with the tractor. I would bet 120 to 150-ish range.
Wow.
But you can find just the figure in the tractor. It's completing it. Making sure the tractor has all its parts, making sure it has the shovel and the pitchfork. Those parts are really hard to track down, like the shifter handle for the tractor or anything like that. Sometimes you see the tractor missing the front wheels. That's one of those ones that's going to be near impossible to complete if you don't just buy it complete.
Oof, yeah, and that's kind of what you've been reiterating, I think, as we continue to do these episodes, which is good to stress out for those who are trying to get into the collecting game, is just save a couple extra dollars and go for the complete one instead of spending all this wasted money on shipping. And
Buy it once.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely worth the investment because, again, you get what you pay for, too, instead of trying. So Josh and I both advise try not to cut corners when collecting turtle figures. All right, what we got next here? But I'm trying to save one of them for the end. Let's go with the Turtle Trolls. Again, another parody set here. What were your thoughts on these little dudes?
This is another one of those ones, like I said last year with 92 April. This was, in my opinion, this was a way to get the girl crowd more excited about Ninja Turtles. Everybody that's our age and remembers Treasure Trolls and all that stuff where you rub the little gem in their belly for good luck, and the old ladies at the bingo halls all had their trolls sitting around and they rubbed the hair and that was good luck. And they had them in keychains and rings and I mean, you name it. I had a sister, so I saw all that stuff. So of course, just like everything else, Ninja Turtles jumped on that train with Ninja Turtle Trolls. Definitely a cool figure, a unique design. Like I said, you're mixing the troll world with the Ninja Turtle world. Each turtle has 4 different color weapons accessories, one for the color of the turtles. You got orange, blue, purple, and red. No price difference there, but these ones, because of the unique hair and the 4 different color accessories, have become quite the hot item. People like to collect them. They're getting up there in price as well. Loose complete. I think I was selling the weapon sets alone complete for like $30, and then with the troll, you're probably talking a nice one with his belt sticker and good hair. You're probably talking $75 to $100 complete.
Yeah, he still goes for a good buck there. Sheesh. Okay.
Yes.
And you gotta keep that hair clean too, because I'm sure have you ever come across any bald troll turtles in your collecting
Absolutely.
days?
That hair is just glued onto a rubber head. If your siblings grabbed it and pulled it away from you, or you slung it around like nunchucks, it's going to come off. I've seen some people have luck getting it back on, but in my personal opinion, it never really looks the same as when it was put on at the factory. So if you notice, you got some hair coming up on the edges, take that in mind when setting a price for it or when paying a price for it. Don't pay full retail min value on a piece that's got its hair coming off.
I would concur with that. All right, let's head up to the Toon figures here. Now, these guys I thought were pretty wild. It was nice. We finally got our full trio of neutrinos. You also get your news team. And I'm going to ask you this too while you're giving us, the info with all the accessories and the cool televisions. Do you like this shredder better than the original? I do. So
I like the paint scheme better. I hate that it's the same mold because, quite frankly, I think that's one of the worst molds in the vintage line.
Yes.
His legs are been weird. He looks anorexic, but he also looks shredded while he looks anorexic. I just don't like the figure. The Toon Shredder is way better than the 88.
Yeah.
Just color-wise, accessory-wise. They painted the shirt on him so he doesn't look quite as weird. I really like the Toon line, except the turtles. So the 4 turtles to me are kind of whack.
Yeah.
They have actions. Mikey sticks his tongue out. Don's bandana spins. Leo's eyes bulge, and Raph. What does Raph do?
He's got that neck thing where he just goes like
head spins.
Yeah.
Okay. So I really like that we got Burn, Irma, and I really like that we got the neutrinos. The neutrinos were nice bright colors. I liked that. They kind of, all the Toon line almost had like a metallic sheen to it. So, but I did want to say that I think Toon Burn got like the shittiest action figure.
Oh, yeah.
He's got toilet paper stuck to his feet. He's eating like a fucking cheeseburger or something.
And his shirt's ripped too, I think. Isn't his shirt
ripped? Ripped. He's got shit like food stains on him. I mean, even the Tuna Irma, they kind of did dirt. Bubble gum stuck in her shirt or some shit.
Oh, yeah. I think they did.
The figures are cool. They all came with a cool TV that had the lenticular motion, which was really big in the mid early 90s. Like that was something that was all over the place. I remember getting like those same kind of things in my baseball card packs and whatnot. So we do have 2 variants in the Toon line. Toon Raph. So the original Toons that came out all have like a shimmery metallic on their front shell and then like a glittery color in their paint. The Raph that comes with the Toon Cycle has the straight mustard shell with no glitter. And then Mikey was re-released in 95, 96, or 94, 95, 96 on the purple card back. He is the same way. He doesn't have that glimmery shine to it. And then on Mikey, the re-release accessories didn't come with any stickers. So his pizza disc and TV are just blank. So if you ever find a Toon TV that looks like the sticker's missing, but it doesn't have any sticker residue, it's probably safe to say that that was a Toon Mikey re-release TV.
Never guessed that. Now, do you think these Toon Turtles could have been a little better if they didn't have the wacky action? Because I think it was kind of unnecessary to have that. They didn't act like that in the cartoon.
Absolutely. They were kind of like over-the-top goofy.
Yes.
And then if you look at like, what was that, Days of Future Past or whatever, that one Ninja, when they brought all the iterations of the they made the 88 Turtles really goofy in that too.
Yeah, that Turtles Forever show. Yep.
Yep. So I get it, but like I said, I think the Turtles, even if they would just made the exact figures they made without the actions, I feel like they would have been more well received because they were cool figures. The sculpture cool. The coloration I thought was really neat. But yeah, just kind of went a little overboard on the goofy antics.
Yeah. And especially with the, you are right too. And Byrne never did that in the cartoon. He never had cheeseburgers. He never was. I mean, he was the boss who just wanted to fire everybody. I guess I don't know why they, made him look like an oaf and a buffoon in the toy line. But I want to ask you one question for those who are trying to collect this. Like you've been saying, time and time again, collect them complete. But one of the harder pieces to find is because it's actually been a while since I've looked at these figures. How do you tell the difference in those press passes? Because sometimes people may buy one and they get a little botched up,
The press passes seem like they suck to figure out because they look the same, but each one of them on the back has an initial printed on it.
Oh, nice.
There's another series here coming up that we'll talk about this year that do the same kind of thing. So Irma's on the back has an I, Vern's on the back has a B, and Vernon's on the back has a V. It's kind of hard to see, but it's definitely printed there. It's in a raised text, so you can even feel it with your finger on the back.
Oh, that's even good to know. Okay, thank you for that tip there. All right, Josh, then our next one over here is the Universal line. I thought these spooky dudes are pretty cool, and I'm just curious if your Mummy Raphael still glows.
Absolutely. I've touched a lot of these figures over the years. I was really big into them for a while, trying to get all the color accessory variants. Each figure comes with 4 different color accessory variants. Blue, purple, red, and orange, just like the 4 colors of the turtles. Like I said, I've never seen one that didn't still glow in some way, but some definitely glow better than others. The Raph, the Mummy, generally tends to pick up dirt more than the others because his whole body glows as opposed to just individual pieces like the others. But I really like this line. I think they're really well done. Donatello as Dracula is my personal favorite, but I just think the figure is the most well done. I really like his cape. You do get a figure variant in Raph. He comes in both painted chest and unpainted chest. Right across his chest right here, on some of them you're going to have a brown painted spot where his mummy wrapping isn't. And in other places, that spot's not going to be painted at all. So a lot of times there isn't a price difference in that one, but if you see it listed correctly as the painted chest variant or unpainted chest variant, I have seen them sell for more of a premium, up to $30 more than the regular version. So these are ones that are pretty expensive, loose complete, probably in the $150 range, I'd imagine. I sell loose complete sets of accessories in the $60, $70 range all day. So I think just individual accessories in this line are probably in the $10 to $12 range.
But why is that, Josh? Is it because these are rare figures, or is it just because of the demand for just, we're a lot of people love horror and collectibles, so it's a little of both, or what's your take on that?
Okay, so obviously the capitalism plays a part, the whole supply and demand. Yep. And then like you said, it crosses genres. That always helps the figure when it crosses genres. You have horror, you have Ninja Turtles, classic movies. I mean, you hit a lot of different areas there, so a lot of different people can collect them. And in my personal opinion, they're some of the better made figures as far as sculpts. Universal Monsters is one of the ones that a lot of early collectors, like early in their Ninja Turtle collecting, they tend to gravitate towards those ones because they're not so expensive that they're unattainable, but they're worth enough that it's cool to say, hey, I have this set. So that's kind of what I think. But like I said, we don't really know production numbers or anything. We can only take guesses, and they are harder to find. Just they're not that hard to find.
Okay, that's kind of what I figured. And we can briefly, we'll briefly touch about these guys here. I almost did forget them, but again, this is where they got a little more carried away with Giants, in my opinion. I think it was cool enough to just have the regular 4, but now they're testing the waters again. Now we have Giant Mutations and Giant Movie Stars, and then we'll get to the other 2 in a little bit. I'm sure you know where I go with those 2, but we'll talk about those guys real quick.
So Giant Mutations, I think the Giant Mutations are cooler than the regular mutations because of their size, it's easier to manipulate them into the transform poses. Giant mutating Don has a purple bow staff that is quite possibly, it's definitely in the top 5 for hardest to find loose accessories in the entire vintage line.
Wow.
It's right up there with Don's basketball. I mean, it's up there. You'll find scratch accessories before you'll ever find that purple bow. That's a very tough find.
That's really saying something as we get into him in a little bit. Wow.
Absolutely. When I was completing my run and trying to have everything, I ended up buying a sealed Giant Mutations Don from Japan and opening it just so I could have the bow staff. So very tough figure to get. Those ones do command a pretty good price. I don't know, loose complete. Don's going to definitely be the most expensive. He's probably 250 mark range. Each of the others is probably somewhere in the 150 mark. Giant Movie Star, very cool figures, very well done. I like the weapons better. They're just remolds of the original Giant weapons, but the colors are much better, much more how they're supposed to be. You get the brown handles and the silver blades. The figures have the spots like the Movie Star Turtles. They're not quite as rubbery, but cool sets. I mean, like you said, kind of a money grab, but it is what it is.
Yeah, again, I enjoyed them too, but it's hard to find them with those bandanas too, because those bandanas break a lot in those movie Turtles, I've noticed.
Absolutely.
Let's see here. Let's do, all right, now we're going to go into the big line here, the, whatchamacallit, let's go to the third movie here now. We went from the second one to the third one. This third movie got pushed heavily in the action figure range. We're going to actually even talk about a vehicle here, because in order to get the figure, you need to buy the vehicle. So we'll go with Wit, who actually has, I'd say, kind of a cool accessory, because we talked about this buddy before, for those who are unaware about it, but this is not going to be a spoiler. This movie's 30 plus years old. So let's go ahead and talk about Mr. Wit real quick.
Yeah, Wit, quote unquote Casey Jones, comes with the cool Casey Jones mask. He comes with the hockey stick. He's the past version of Casey Jones. April's love interest, kinda, in the third movie. We did see a bunch of action figures from the third movie, basically anybody that existed. But yeah, Wit didn't come on a traditional card back like most Ninja Turtles. He came in as a pack-in figure on the Turtle Pult. It's a cool figure. Doesn't probably get the respect it deserves on far as like hard to find complete. It's pretty tough to find that figure loose complete in nice condition. Once again, you got a white figure, and then you got kind of weird accessories, and his accessories are also white, and he has a cloth accessory. So you're hitting all the checklists for hard to complete.
Yeah, I agree. And then we'll go back to the Giants real quick. Why do you think there were only two Giants released this movie? It was just Raphael and Leonardo is all we got for the Samurai.
And the movie 3, we've seen mock-ups where they had planned on releasing the others.
Oh, okay.
What I personally think is 93 was kind of the year Ninja Turtles started to take a decline. And I think if 93 would have went as hard in sales as 92 did, we probably would have got those. But I think Playmates was starting to see, the rise. 1994 is when Power Rangers made their big move. So 1983 is when we're starting to see interest wane a little bit. Some people in our age group are starting to age more out of toys, get more into sports and stuff like that by 1993. So that's probably the big reason we didn't see a lot of things that were supposed to happen in these next couple years in Ninja Turtle toys.
No, I agree, and that's kind of how I was too. Remember, X-Men was coming around, Batman the animated series. Again, it's a child. Usually, it's most of the time you do jump around, whether it's a video game console, like say sports, WWF, WCW is getting more popular.
Everybody wants the newest and the best. It's got to be the newest and the best.
Yep, exactly. And then just some rapid fire. So you had your Turtles 3 figures. These guys, I think they're still very affordable. Again, you'd want to make sure that you have your samurai helmets for the Turtles, also their mask, which is why Josh, again, encouraged you for probably the 50th time in 6 episodes. Get them complete. I thought the scepters were kind of cool. Splinter's got he's almost like a hamster. He's a little furry dude. You pretty much get all the characters in this movie. And we have one more I almost forgot to, because we're trying to touch every figure. There was not only was Wit, but wasn't there another character? Oh yeah, there's two of them. The War Horses too. We could talk about. I'm sorry, I forgot about the War Horses first. These two characters.
The Rebel War Horse and the Rebel and the Castle Guard Horse.
There you go. Yes. So those guys we forgot, but again, you had to get the. I would kind of consider it a vehicle. But did you like these figures?
So I thought it was cool that they made it to where you could pretty much, fill the whole cast of the third movie. I really like that as far as play value. I think they kind of biffed it on Warlord. His figure sucks.
Yeah, that's true.
Kenshin as well. I think they could have took different paths there and made the figures a little cooler. But April really is a good figure. She's true to the movie. She comes with her Walkman. I like that figure. Walker, I thought they did pretty well with. It's kind of a corny figure, but like as far as like being to what the movie had him as, you got what you got. He's got a little pistol, But the Castle Guards, that was cool. You could kind of army build in guys if you wanted, and have, I don't know if anybody did that, but kind of neat thing about the third movie is we were supposed to get a sewer playset based on the subway thing that they moved into in the third movie.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, it made it to prototype stages, at least half-assed, like mock-up. It was a really cool design. I wish we would have got it.
Yeah, it would have been a nice little piece to have. Maybe NECA will give us what we want, because they pretty much give us everything else we do want. I also thought it was cool that all four turtles, kind of like how the original toys were, the colors were a little different on the green. They all had different like samurai helmets too. So
that's another thing. What we were talking about with press passes.
Yeah.
A lot of people have a hard time figuring out which mask goes to which turtle. Oh, if you look at the inside of those masks, there's going to be a D, there's going to be an R, there's going to be an L, or there's going to be an M. Guess what those mean?
Yeah, I didn't even know that until I was this days old.
I didn't find that out till like 6 months ago, bro, and I've been doing this a long time. So, and I don't remember, somebody stumbled across it somewhere and told me about it, and I'm like, fuck, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, geez, it's funny. You've been doing this for 30 plus years collecting vintage turtle toys, and you can still learn something new. So, how about value of these? I think these guys would be great for people who are new to collecting. I don't think they're that
these
expensive.
are a good one to get into pretty cheap. The 4 turtles you can get for about $25 loose complete. Kenshin, Warlord, Walker, April, they're all going to be $15. They're not, and that's complete. You can probably buy movie 3 April for $30 on the card. The War Horses and the Castle Guard, loose complete, you're probably in the $30 range, maybe even $35, because the horses, they don't have any articulating parts. They're kind of that hollow plastic, so I have seen them with legs and stuff missing. A big thing for me on the movie 3s is make sure everything has all its armor. The horses, the turtles, whatever, because that stuff's going to be really hard to find.
I agree with that one. Yeah, I'm glad you're on the same page. Like I say, although a lot of people don't like the movie, I still think the toys are really pretty cool. And again, for the
definitely
price,
well done and true to the movie.
Yeah,
at least as true as you expect an action figure to get in 1993.
And here comes our meat and potatoes. Now, all 6 of these, check that 7 characters here have a lot of good value. I don't know if we'll ever get reissues of some of these characters, but we'll go with these guys one by one. Well, actually, we'll start to do it. We'll do the cartoon episode, Robotic Bebop and Robotic Rocksteady.
Absolutely. Two very cool figures. Bebop and Rocksteady in robotic form. They used the chrome vacuum plating technique, just like they did on Chrome Dome. The figures look really cool. You got 2 color accessories for each figure. You could get them in purple or orange. Once again, no price difference there, just a preference. And do you want them all, or do you just care if you only have one? The big thing on these 2 is each one of them has shoulder guns that are just glued in, so they can be missing on either one. Impossible to find loose. No, I'm not saying impossible, because you can find them, but the cost effectiveness of completing one that doesn't have those is just not there. Unless it's yours from when you were a kid, just buy it complete.
Now, can these guys also wear out too? Because I've seen some of these guys, they look like almost like soggy chocolate milk, like the robot color kind of wears.
Okay, so what happens there is it's a vacuum chrome. It's called vacuum plating. I was actually worked that process in a different way than the job I had in the past. So it's like putting like a plastic chrome shell over plastic, and it can be stripped off. There's chemicals that can do it, or if you're OCD enough and you have a little chip at the edge and you want to just keep working at it, I've seen that happen as well. But yeah, they can be stripped down, and then you see a lot of people, when they see them stripped down, they're like, oh, is that a prototype, or blah, 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 or what's this variant? No, you just have a trash figure. And they do look cool because it's neat colors that you don't see them in. But yeah, it's just a trash figure. They have pretty good value. I bet you can't buy either one of those two for less than $125.
Yeah, I'd say it's about right because they've been going up ever since I slowly stepped out of the game. Now let's get to a character who had only one cartoon episode, but also is just oh so popular. This female turtle character, Mona Lisa, had her one episode with Raphael, came out as DLC for Shredder's Revenge. What makes Mona Lisa so popular and actually a really cool figure too?
Any figure that was in the cartoon seems to gain a little popularity with people. You want the ones you saw as a kid. Once again, this is a figure, this is where Playmates did it right. They were going after, trying to get female characters out there or get girls interested in Ninja Turtles. This was a fresh, new character. It wasn't April. It wasn't Barbie-like. And it was cool. She had girl-type weapons that were still weapons. I think like a hair curler, and some kind of file knife. I can't remember exactly what else she had. Oh, some kind of grenades that were like hairspray grenades or something. I don't know. But, I mean, cool weapons that it was believable. The big thing about this figure, and a lot of people will mess this up, is when you get one, the figure almost looks dirty, and people will clean that off. You're actually ruining this figure if you do that. This figure was made to almost look a little bit dirty. Like the finish had like a griminess to it, and it can be scrubbed off with a magic eraser, and that figure will never look the same again.
Wow. And again, if you guys haven't checked out, be sure to check out episode 1 because Josh gives you some nice ways on how to actually clean your figure so you don't damage them.
Absolutely.
Let's see here. Let's go to our camel friend Sandstorm. I think he had some cool action. Another rare piece. I like his lamp. I like the way his pose is. So let's talk a little about Sandstorm.
This is one of those ones where you could say they got a little stereotypical. I mean, we got a guy from the Middle East that mutates into a camel that dresses like a Shriner. Very odd choice, but super cool figure. The hump on his back, they just made it go really well. He's got a twisting waist action. He's got a very cool sword, lamp, magic carpet combo. I mean, everything fits the character. Aladdin had just came out from Disney. The stars aligned, and we got a really cool figure. Once again, with pretty good value. I think Sandstorm was right around 150-ish, maybe even 170, give or take.
Jeez, yeah, this whole line just is very, very valuable. So here's one that holds dear to my heart is Half Court. Now, what was really cool is the reason this one stands out is I won like a little Peacemaker award back in 3rd grade. I had a little award, and my aunt was very proud of me, so she got me a turtle figure. I ended up getting Half Court. Plus, I was huge into basketball time. I think it's such a great name for a figure. I wish they would have done I know he pops up in Shredder's Revenge as DLC as a cameo, but can you imagine if the Turtles... they did play basketball in one old episode just for a brief moment. They do mention Magic Johnson, but how awesome would it have been if this dude would have been in a cartoon? Especially at the time, basketball was hot. The Bulls were running good. So let's talk a little bit about Half Court here.
Yep, you get Half Court. The giraffe basketball player. It works out. Basketball players are tall. He comes with a sidekick that's like a little flamingo referee. Referee and a basketball player, that works out. He's got an air pump Tommy gun, a backboard, and a beehive basketball. So, everything works out. His neck stretching action, when I was starting collecting and I didn't own it yet, like seeing it in the package doesn't do this justice. You actually have to hold on to like get it because his feet are actually hooves. His neck comes out. Just a cool figure overall, in my opinion. I really like that one. Same thing. I think he's a little more expensive than even Sandstorm. I think Harcourt is right below Scratch and Hotspot on popularity for this year. So.
Yeah, I like him. What was the name of his buddy again? Something basketball punny, I thought.
Yeah, his name is Half Court and shit. You got me stumped. I'm trying to think of what it is.
Yeah, I know we're running here, but I'm gonna look this up.
I know that.
It's not Ruffery. It was something pretty wild. I mean, what's it called? Yeah. I'll look at Half Court and his buddy, right? TMNT.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I don't have my phone in front of me because I moved computers so I could plug it in.
Okay. Well, while I look up him, I guess we'll dig a little deeper into the Alpha and Omega, I guess, for the Turtles in value right here. I'll let you pick which one you want to go with first. I know you got a little show and shell for us. So feel free to pick whichever one you want out of Scratch or Hotspot.
So Scratch and Hotspot, the two most popular figures. For most general new collectors, they're always looking for Scratch and Hotspot. The theory behind it is these two were, short packed in cases, Scratch more than Hotspot, with, if a case had 24 figures, there's only one Scratch in there, or whatever, however they did it. But values are kind of going crazy, for a loose complete Scratch, you're probably in the, $1,700 range, I'd imagine. I have... This guy here is the loose graded Hotspot. This is probably, it's definitely one of, if not the highest graded loose figure out there. This is a 90 plus from CAF, the 92.1, I believe. The Hotspots, just like Scratch, any of the Ninja Turtles figures with white in them just tend to be very hard to find, not really where you see the most damage, and then also with Hotspot, you have black boots, and with Scratch you have brown feet, so they tend to show play wear quicker than some other colors. Very sought after figures. Hotspot loose complete is probably $800 or $900. Scratch loose complete, like I said, $1,500 to $1,700. Very sought after. Not the grailiest of grails, as I believe, but very sought after, cool figures in my opinion. A firefighting Dalmatian makes sense. A cat burglar that's a Ninja Turtles enemy, and it makes sense.
Yeah, why not? And Scratch is also in the third Game Boy game. So, do you think we're gonna get a Super 7 Hotspot eventually, since Scratch has a Super 7 figure?
I have the Super 7 Scratch. I think it's a really cool figure. It's one of the few modern figures I've bought. I do some of the NECA, and I've done a couple of the Super 7s. I think I did Mutagen Man and Scratch so far. I really like it, so I hope they do a Hotspot. I'd probably buy it just to put up on my shelf with my Scratch.
Yeah. All right. I believe we finished up that whole line there then, my friend. So, while we bring this in for a landing, another little bonus for those who have made it all the way to the end of the video, let's talk about displaying your collection. And how do you go about your collection here? Yeah,
so this is what happens, and I've seen this happen so many times in groups. You start collecting, you get 20 or 30 figures together, and you want to put them somewhere where you can look at them or show them to other people. Most people get some kind of bookshelf, either from Goodwill or Walmart, or they buy it somewhere. And the first one you buy is always going to be a mistake. It's not going to be big enough. It's going to disappoint you in many ways. The biggest tip I can give to people on that is just buy something that's glass on 4 sides. You will save so much time with dusting. And a lot of people don't see this as a problem, but if you want your figures to just at least hold value, or you're doing it as an investment, if your figures are just sitting out collecting dust, when they do that over and over and over, and you're constantly water and cleaning them, every single time you do that, clean a figure, whatever, you're kind of damaging it a little bit, even if you don't realize it. By wiping it, by magic erasing it, by dish soaping it, toothbrushing it, whatever you're doing, you're putting some minor form of abrasive to the paint scheme there. So my personal opinion is you put them in glass, and then you only have to dust them once a year. You're still going to get some dust in your figures, even if you got them in glass cases, unless, you have access to Hogwarts or something, you can hide them with the trolls. But once a year is much better than when I had my turtles on open shelves. I was dusting once a month, and it became a real problem. It would take me an entire Saturday from 8 a.m. in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. I would be taking figures off the shelf and slowly cleaning them and putting them back.
Now, the other thing I've seen is a couple other friends like John Coleman. Do you buy what's called, I think they're called stairs? How much do those things cost? I think those are a cool way to display your figures.
Okay.
It's like a little riser.
So the stairs, risers, whatever you want to call them, they make custom ones that'll fit right into certain cases, whether it be the IKEA Detolf or something like that. But what I've always found, and what works really good for me, is you just go to Walmart, and in the home section you can just buy spice racks. They're just little step stair things for putting spices up in your cabinet.
Yeah.
They work amazing for action figures. They usually have 4 or 5 different varieties as far as white, gray, black, wooden, plastic, metal. There's usually options there, and they have them at every Walmart, at every Target, Dollar General. I've also seen other people use like old Ninja Turtles VHSs to make their own little staircase, and I think that's a really cool way to display your figures. But there's lots of little things you can do, even those 250 count Ultra Pro baseball card cases that people put individual figures in.
Yeah.
I've seen people that had 150 of them lined up on a wall on a shelf, and they look really good and really clean. And once again, you're not letting your figure get dirty and dusty, so it's nice.
Now, I'd say it's a good investment too, because for me personally, I know everyone's different, but when I buy stuff, I try not to have anything in storage bins. Unless needed, because otherwise, what's the point of having it? It's like I want to see what I purchased or what I found, because a lot of those are good stories. But it's like, hey, I made a trade with Josh. I got this nice, half court, or hey, I found this on eBay. It was a nice score. I want to keep this up on display. And any other advice in regards to displays? I think you hit the nail on the head in regards to cost efficiency. So, anything else you want to share about that? I think you hit everything else. But
displays, everybody has different opinions. Some people go by year. Some people go by like series and sub-series. I really like to see that. If you have all your Universal monsters, I just think they look really good displayed like that. But, with Ninja Turtles, you can never go wrong. People who have a really spread out display so you can see everything looks good, and then other people do like, I've got 1,000 things in this really tiny space, and I think that's really cool because then every time you look at it, you kind of see something different. I think that's the really cool thing about Ninja Turtles is we had so many different toys and so much different merchandise that you can really put together a unique display, and you'll never see 2 Ninja Turtles collections that really even look remotely the same because of the variety of different ways to display and things you could display.
Yeah, whether you're army building foot soldiers, mousers, just an all Donnie collector, just an all certain year collector. I guess one final question with that is, how about lighting in some of those cases? Some people, how do you go on that with a budget? Because I would think that can get expensive.
Lighting can get rather expensive. Cases can get really expensive. So most of my cases, I'm a cheapskate on that, are Facebook Marketplace find scores. My cousin just got a really nice, it's not an IKEA Detolf, but it looks just like one. And I think he paid $50 for it. That's an amazing score to me for an all-glass case that's got 4 shelves in it. The big thing with that is, like, some of them have lighting in them. I don't like to use those. Like if you buy a curio cabinet from, like, the late 80s, early 90s, the lighting in them, you just be careful which bulbs you're using, because obviously UV light of any kind is bad for action figures. That'd be similar to having them sitting out in the sun, a la Pit Stain Mikey.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you're avoiding anything like LED light is good. I don't think it has any damaging effects at all. And they make those little, now it's like a portable string of lights that you just hook up and then you can control with your phone. Those are getting relatively cheap, and you can light up a whole cabinet just using tape and it's basically like a string of Christmas lights, and you just tuck them up in the back corner, turn it on with an app on your phone, and you're set.
Oh, man, it is great to hear. All right, then, Josh, I appreciate your time as always. Where can people find you if they want to get more turtle talking?
I'm just Josh Melchart on Facebook. Josh Melchart's Visual Guide to Vintage Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, also on Facebook. That's my page. And then Melchart's Guide on eBay. Currently, and for at least the next week, maybe 2 weeks, both the Facebook page and eBay hiatus. Reorganize all my stock and prepare for the new year. And it's also a mixture of preparing taxes for next year because I actually pay taxes on all the toys I sell. So for anybody that's curious about any of those, the site not having new content or being down currently, all that's coming back. I just have to work my mojo and get it all back to where it's supposed to be. Inventory has to happen, otherwise business doesn't succeed.
Exactly. You got to have those counts. Got to have those numbers. Crunch those numbers. All right, Josh. Well, I'm sure I'll see you before we talk about Hokum Hare and the Turtles Easter next week, but I appreciate your time as always. And 6 down, and I'd say about a couple more to go, and then we'll have this whole rundown, man. It's been fun.
Absolutely. Enjoy, and remember to collect them all.
All right, my man. As always, Josh, thank you, brother. Have a good weekend. See you soon, bud.